Hello, my most amazing artists. We're going to take the paper that we did last week where we watercolored and then salted. And the first step is going to be to go brush off all the salt so we don't have any salt left. This is one I did in the video, and you can see that I do have snowflakes in the background. In the last video, I showed you how to make the birch tree. So this is the birch tree that I made. Remember that anything where there was a marking on it is going to be the back. So now I'm going to flip it over, and this is going to be the birch tree that goes onto my paper. But first, we're going to make it look like a birch tree. I've pulled up this photo of birch trees for you guys to see. So these are real birch trees, and you can see on them, they have these black lines that are on the trunk. So some of them are more circular, some of them are small lines like this, a lot of them are right at the edge. So we're going to take a black marker and we are going to create these lines on this tree and on the branches. So I'm going to put this here, and I'm just going to use a black marker. When I use the marker, I can make different widths of the black marks. Widths means how wide something is, because if you notice, these, like this one right here, is more narrow than this one. So on my birch tree, before we glue it down, you're going to take a black marker and you are going to make some lines on your tree. To make that line really nice and wide, what I did is I took my marker and I laid it down using the side of the marker right here and not just the tip. If I use just the tip, it will create a really small line. So I created a really thick line, and I think I'll put a small line there. And they're not straight, so you don't want to go boop, 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 because those are not what they look like. Over here, I think I'm going to put a little circle and then a line that goes off of it. Now I'm not going to put one going like this because the branch is going to have its own lines going down the sides. So I'm going to put some lines here. And some are going to be in the middle, some are going to be at the edge. I'll put another circle right there. This is going to make it look like a birch tree. So once again, I'm going to do my lines. I'm going to do a really thick one right there and a thick one right there. Go back up my trunk of my tree. Here we go. Go down my branches. So you want to keep the branches and the trunk separate because this is the direction that they grow in. I'm sorry, that the black markings are, not necessarily that they grow in. It looks like a face. You add a piece right there. I'm going to use the tip to make some smaller ones. Put some smaller ones down here. Now my whole tree isn't covered in black, but it does have quite a few little markings. Okay, so there is my birch tree. We're going to glue it onto our paper. I'm going to take my iPad and move it over here. All right, so glue. You want there to be glue on the back of all your branches and on the trunk. So I'm going to put dots going down. And I'm going to put dots on the back of my branches because I want them to stick down. When you put this on your paper, we want it to be at the very bottom, the very top, and the sides. So this tree is going to go off of the paper at the top, off the paper at the bottom, and the sides are going to go off the edge. So you have to look and be careful and line it up. If it doesn't stick immediately, you see what I'm doing? I'm holding it down. More glue is not the answer. Holding it down is the answer. Because that glue sometimes needs a little bit of encouragement to stick. Okay, so my glue is sticking down. I'm going to let it rest for a minute. The next thing you'll do is you'll make the bird that goes onto your tree. I have already taken my bird and I have traced him. I have bird tracers for you to use today. They look like this. Let me grab it. So this is the bird that I traced. We used these in 3rd grade a couple years ago. That's why they have A and B on them. You guys don't have to worry about that so much. So I traced my bird on this red piece of paper. I've got an orange piece for a beak. You're going to cut out your bird. And then on the side that you traced on, this is going to be the back side, because once again, just like on the tree, we want the back lines that we traced hidden. So I'm going to cut out my bird. Now the tricky thing about this bird is he's turned around and he's looking this way. This is not the front of his face. This is the front of his face. So when you put your bird on today, you need to make sure that you have your bird facing the right way, because you're going to put on the beak, and you don't want his beak on his face backwards, because that would be silly. Okay, so I have cut out my bird. This is the side that I traced on. There are the black lines, so I'm going to flip it over. There's the one that I traced, so I'm going to flip it over. You have choice on how you want to do your bird, where you want to put the bird on the tree, how you want his feather to look, or not his feather, but his wing. But one thing we have to do, we're going to take a black marker and we're going to very carefully do a follow the leader line all around the inside of the bird. This is going to make him stand out because he's kind of hard to see. If you don't do this, you don't see the shape of the bird or the wing as much. Follow the leader line all around. If you notice, you have to go kind of slow. That's okay. So there's the outline of the bird. I'm going to put a couple little lines on his wing as well. And then here's my little bird. So you can put his wing going up, you can put it going back, you can put it going down. It is up to you. I'm going to take a little square of orange paper and I'm going to cut it into a triangle. And there is my beak. His beak is going to go on this side behind the pointy part of his face. His beak does not go over here. That's the back of his head. We're going to hide it. So I'm going to put a teeny tiny dot of glue. And then put it behind that triangle part of his face right there to hide where that is coming out. So there's that. I'm going to put my wing on, just 2 little dots. I'm going to put his wing on facing down. You can put it facing up, that's okay. And then, you know what I forgot? I forgot to add an eye. I'm going to add a circle eye. And you know what? I think I'll add a line for his beak as well. And I think I want to point his beak down. I don't want it pointing up as much. Okay, so there's my bird. Now you're going to glue your bird down. Before you glue him down, please look and see what you like. Do you like him over here? Do you like him on this branch, on that branch, over here? Look and see where he looks good to you. I think I'm going to put mine down towards the bottom today. You put yours where you like it. Notice I have dots, not lots. I'm going to put my bird on this branch right here. When you have it this far, when you've done your tree, making the black details on your tree, making your bird tracing, cutting, and then making the contour line around the outside of your bird, this is the project and this is done. You're not going to take them home today. We're going to bring them to the drying rack and let them dry. And then I'm going to be able to hang some up in the hallway for winter when it comes. Here we go, friends. You're going to like this.